What it do, what it is, what it was. This is your boy Pocho, one of the Pocho Live podcast in the building. I got my brother Jimmy Valdez. What's up, brother?
¿Qué ole?
Chilling, chilling. Let me just give a little quick intro. So basically, I met my brother Jimmy at a boxing event. I think it was like in not Long Beach, but it was somewhere over there. No, it wasn't Long Beach. Where was it? Commerce, the city of Commerce, the city of Commerce. And I was with my homeboy Prime, and I was down there doing the Full Community podcast, bro. And I met this brother. He's like, "Hey, I think I seen you before." And then we just started chopping it up, bro. And I just basically, bro, like from the day we met, I just saw like how you carry yourself, online, and just and I felt like I wanted to basically what happened with the Full Community, man, it was great. I don't even want to I'm not here to campaign against them or anything, bro. It's just that I want to talk to you too about this is kind of that food culture and environment. It was really like kind of toxic place for me, and it was like it brought me back to my gang days, and I don't know, it made me feel like not proud. I couldn't show my parents what I was doing, and I
Wow.
always be able to show my parents and my daughter like the stuff that I do, and then be
Right.
proud, So that's why, like, meeting people like you, and I'm like, noticing like that you're more open to be like, I don't know what's wrong with being positive minded. I feel like it's like, so anyway, basically, I have been now kind of more on a journey of just finding people I want to conversate with, bro, that kind of carry themselves in a way that I want to carry myself more.
Yeah, man. No, that's what's up, man. That's good. To seek a more positive state of mind and relationships, etc. That's always good, man. Yeah, I don't know about the thing. I know I remember I met you and we had brought up the Full Community. I don't know what happened. At some point, maybe I would like to hear about it. But man, sometimes we gotta do what's best for us, man. And seeking to heal, seeking to grow is always a dope place to be at.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Paula Smith. Salute, Pocho Live Podcast, and your guest. Yep. Look him up. He's on my Instagram. It's Jimmy Valdez. Yeah, bro. So basically, I mean, a little bit about that was like I came down there, I produced the whole podcast. It was literally my whole idea, bro. The whole podcast was my idea, the whole thing.
Wow.
Because I was doing these little interviews off of foods before in the pandemic because I was bored just chilling at home. So I with fools, and then the food community caught on, and they were like, and then I started talking to them. I was like, "Hey, bro, what about my show on your platform?" And he's like, "Yeah, but what about let's just create a food community podcast?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" And then basically, I went down there, and I felt like I needed a host, and I was thinking about Duno, Prime, a couple other people. You would have been good actually, but felt like Icon as a videographer and photographer like me. He knows everybody, and he could kind of be that co-host that kind of like respects the local. And my whole idea about podcast, bro, is there has to be layers. So there's a vato from up north, a vato from LA, and a vato from Bakersfield, the owner of the food community.
Okay.
To interview these fools and kind of not liberate them, but like put them up higher, But what happened also was just they were really into the kind of like Fools Gone Wild kind of stuff, And I'm a journalist, bro. Like I'm really trying to like this little conversation we had in 100 years. Hopefully, YouTube will still be around or whatever, and somebody can be able to come and see what we said,
Respect, bro.
Yeah. So basically, it's just little things, just a bunch of little things. We just had different visions, bro. And basically, what happens is why I'm on this journey to like meet people that I feel that are a little bit more calmer or like carry themselves the way I want to carry myself is because basically I crashed out, bro. And I kind of threatened them, And do that to a grown man, bro. It's hard to come back from that, Like, you know how it is. Like, if say somebody at your age, if somebody kind of crashes out on you, do you think you guys can be friends again or be cool again? I know it depends, I guess.
Yeah, it depends the circumstance. It depends how much of a line you cross. It depends what was said or done, and then it depends how you approach the situation. I'm a big believer that you can communicate, and be responsible. I think sometimes you just got to take an L in that relationship too. It's like, I forgive you. It's cool. It was said what it was said. But you're going to have to go your way and I'm going to have to go mine. And that's it. It's just water under a bridge, and it is what it is. In other cases, I respect the man that, communicates with me and says, "Hey, bro, I fucked up. for so and so and so. Uh, uh, I apologize and I take responsibility and I want to make things better. And if it's something that we could fix, then we'll fix it and we'll move forward. We'll continue to grow and we'll continue to check in with each other based off our actions. But if it's something that's got to go, it's got to go, man. It's like, I love you, man, but you got to go. It is what it is. We both take an L and we learn from it, you know? But that's really it, man. I'm a big believer in just communication, you know?
Yeah, bro. I mean, that's how I look at it because I feel like they what happens with me a lot, bro, is people will. I rarely can find a time when I start something, but
Yeah.
I'm raised to finish things. And back then it was cool, like all being tough and stuff. Like I finish things, but with the old kid, that doesn't work, bro.
Oh,
Like,
no.
bro. And so they were kind of doing little things that I felt were disrespectful, but they were very like passive aggressive, kind of. Basically, I just kind of built them all up, and instead of addressing them one by one, like, how like I will talk more about this, but I got 10 years sober, and they talk about a daily reprieve, and like making sure your day, like everything, all the resentments that you had, you deal with it that day. Well, I didn't do that because I was dealing with people that were not really at that conversational level, and I felt like basically every time I talked to them, they were just making sure that they were not wrong, if that makes sense. They were not trying to get to a solution.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
and then I went off, bro. And when I go off, it doesn't look good, Like I have a couple friends that have a temper like me, and one time one of my friends went off on me, and we're never the same after that.
Oh yeah, man. No, some things they scar a relationship. And I think you're bringing up powerful points, man. Anger and ego. Those are two very destructive things that can cause a lot of problems to yourself, to others. And it can ruin a lot of opportunities, relationships, and I say that because I've been there, while I was locked up and I took my anger was bad. Somebody could look at me the wrong way and, I could just snap in a moment to where I would black out, right? And not know how I beat the fuck out of this person. And then it got to a point where it started affecting, obviously, my freedom, but obviously relationships that were very important to me, to where I'm like, how am I this animal, speaking to this person who's very kind and kind-hearted and soft-spoken and I'm just aggressive, and there's nothing wrong with being aggressive, but not that kind of aggressive. And I started finding the urgency to take anger management classes. I took those while I was incarcerated. I took like 3 or 4 of them. I got certificates and I learned so much, bro. And I read and I prayed about it and I continue to practice with my actions, right? If something rubbed me the wrong way and my chest started getting hot, all right, cool. This is where the problem is coming. I got to breathe and move accordingly. And you know what, man? We just got to target what we need to target. And, these two things, ego and anger, are two poisonous things, man. And I get you, man. I get you, because in a moment of heat, we can say something wrong and then be like, fuck, man, that was a good relationship. I fucked it up. But we live and we learn. And
40, dog.
Yeah.
Like, come on, at 40, dog, I'm still kind of dealing with these emotional kind of like reacting instead of responding.
And I respect you, bro. I respect you for opening up about this. I think this conversation is great. They say poetry oftentimes is not for the reader. Oftentimes is not for the reader, but for the writer, right? In this case, bro, this podcast could be something healing, not just for me, but for you. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you, bro, opening up about these things to your audience and to my audience, bro. And I think it's powerful that, man, this is what we're supposed to do, bro. We're supposed to uplift each other and speak life into each other and positivity, bro.
Yeah.
On some gangster shit, because, some of us have kids, we have family, some of us don't, but will, right? So we gotta empower one another, bro.
Yeah, bro. And also, like, and make sure that those people live long enough to have kids, you know? Like my whole thing is like I respect Juan from the food community and Icon. I wouldn't have picked Icon to be my co-host if I didn't think he was awesome, you know? And a lot of people in the middle are trying to get me to go attack them and do a whole campaign against the food community because they do some kind of there are some things that the food community as a page I couldn't keep going along with either because they started reporting on bad like things that were really off and it was like affecting people in the community. So that was another thing, but that's kind of separate. For me, it's more I don't want to blame them for anything. It's more like what can you do? You know, it's all about how you respond to the world, bro. And it's just, you know, at that moment, man, I felt like caught in a corner, you know, and I just blew up. And it's like I just don't want to keep blowing up on people, bro, because I've blown up on I care about. And sad to say, like even Icon and Juan, like I care about them, but I've blown up on people that I care about more than them, you know. So they're not this issue, but like I probably like I could have took that podcast to a whole nother place, bro. And now it doesn't. It seems like it's just gonna be another LA podcast that you kind of stop by as an artist instead of being like transformative podcast that can change the world, bro.
Right.
And, but if not, hey, I mean, I learned a lot. I got to meet a lot of people. I got to meet you. You know, I didn't pay for anything. Juanito took care of me really well. I appreciate that for him. And I'm trying to work on not like because people keep asking me like they'll put me in a situation where I kind of talk shit a little bit because I'm a little petty sometimes, you know, like I still got a little bit of that, you know. And I'm trying to catch that part of me, bro, because making fun of somebody that's overweight, like, bro, that's some old, like bully weird shit. Like I shouldn't be making wait, I've been a little overweight before. I still got like a little and so I don't know, bro. I'm just trying to kind of come to terms with all that, but move forward. And I feel like this, even if it's not as popping as before, this, that, at least it'll be quality, you know, of people that I want to fucking learn from and build with.
Well, it's definitely healing to have these conversations. And on that note, to conclude my end of this conversation, you know, I met you, and then crazy enough, I met LA Icon right after that at a show. And I'll say this, man, he very, very kind guy, you know, very respectful. He already knew of me. And, you know, I have nothing else to say, but he's a good guy for what I met him for. On the food community end, man, I want to say thank you because there was you know, post about my sobriety. There was post about, you know, my music, about the corrido. Like when I did a prison war, this shit just went to a next level, man. And it's a great platform. And so I personally on this end of the side want to say thank you to those involved, including yourself, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And I just hope that perhaps, because from what I'm hearing, it's something that, you know, I hope that it can come into maybe amend a relationship in better terms if it's communicated, and if not, at the very least, like I said, sometimes we apologize, we go our own ways, but I do hope that it comes to better terms, man. Especially being a man that takes responsibility for his actions, and I like where this is going, man, because this is a healing journey. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing more powerful than that, bro. So I want to say thanks to everybody on that end. But I also want to say that I'm glad that you're on this journey of process and progress and healing.
Yeah. People think I don't want to be like known for any kind of campaign against them or anything. Like in the end, I even told Juan, if you could create the food community, brother, you could create anything. You know what I mean? And my thing is, I'm just more hurt because I feel I sacrificed a lot, brother. I had I have 2 master's degrees, so I can get like really good jobs. And I said no to 2 big life-changing jobs, bro, to do this, and got into debt, you know, got away from my daughter. So I did a lot. And for me, the reason I'm also hurt is I feel like they're kind of like the mother of my child. Like they'll never acknowledge when they're wrong, you know, and you can't build a relationship with them till they acknowledge their part, you know, and they're always right, bro. They're always right. They're never wrong. And it's like I can't be in a relationship with somebody that's always right, bro, because nobody's right every day, you know?
No, absolutely, man. I understand. And it's hard to work with sometimes people like that. In this case, sometimes the best thing to do is to sincerely offer your apologies and take responsibility. And listen, man, if we could shake hands and be friends, cool. And if we can't, then much love, thank you, y cada quien por su lado.
Simon, and that's how I look at it. Like, I'm really trying to work on, and I know that it's gonna come up here and there because I didn't know how big a deal people like really asked me for, and they made. I mean, people made like 20 videos on it, dog, like about the whole me getting fired and this, and I just didn't think it was such a big deal. I don't know why I didn't think. I guess it's because I'm an artist. I've been around so much stuff, and I've been around like big celebrities, bro, like Bruno Mars. I went on tour with Bruno Mars, the Kardashians, all this. So. And for me, bro, this whole celebrity life, I didn't grow up in LA. I don't know. It's not something that like attracts me, people like you or just like inspiring people like, oh, you interview whoever. This sounds like, no, I interview people that I think that are literally moving in this world, like in a dope ass way. And I saw something in them that I need, or I want, and so we've been talking about this, but let's go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Give a little bit of your background, bro. Where you were born, where's your family, your ancestors from, how you met music, and any kind of conflicts that you had growing up and into teenage life.
Well, I grew up in Los Angeles. I grew up pretty much in the South Central area, between West Los Angeles and South Central, and I lived in Sinaloa for a little bit.
What major streets in South Central?
Major streets, San Pedro and like 21st, 22nd, 23rd. That's pretty much like home. I live in the West Side now, and my family's from Sinaloa and Jalisco. My mother's from Sinaloa. My father's from Jalisco. They're both Mexican, and music has always been in my life, bro. Ever since I can remember, I was 8. The first time I was on stage, and I sung with this known artist at that time. So when Chalino got killed, this young artist came out named Saul Viera el Gavilancillo, and he was like the next coined, like Chalino Sanchez at the time, and people really fucked with his style, and even Chalino's son liked him, and I sung with him when I was 8 at this event. It was a New Year like party main event type shit. My dad, he had reserved table there and everything. So I sung with him. That was my first time on stage. And just throughout my life, bro, I was just always sang. But it wasn't until I was 17 and I was incarcerated. I had just been sentenced to 8 years in the Youth Correctional CY, California Youth Authority. And I was sitting in the shoe because I was a high risk offender at that time. We were waiting to be transferred to another facility where other young lifers or kids who were fighting their fitness. And I was sitting in my cell, bro, and just this song just came in my head, bro. And then I started humming it. Para cantar el corrido, necesito un trago fuerte. And then boom, like it just started developing, bro. And it was basically based on my godfather's murder that had happened the year before. The same date, the 2 days, but the same date, 1 year prior to that, it had happened in Culiacan, Sinaloa. They had murdered him. I had seen him, his eyes still open, et cetera, et cetera. And the song came out, and that was my first corrido ever, bro. And from there, I just kept singing, making music inside. The other homies who were locked up would ask me to write songs about their brothers who were gang members, about the homies from Pomona, the homies from Compton. They started asking me to write, and it was a thing, man. Like wherever I would step in, it was like a celebrity, bro. Like, yeah, hey, this the homie, bro. This fool gets down with corridos, whatever. I never took it too serious. I bought a typewriter. I started writing. But when I came home, I went straight to college to study cinema and theater, which I didn't go to the music because I felt like music is spiritual, bro. It's so powerful. And I felt like I was writing some real gangster shit based on my life in Sinaloa. And I was like, nah, bro, I don't want to go back into that lifestyle. So there was a conflict for me. There was a spiritual conflict. And I was like, but I'm not about to write about some like, if I write, I'm going to write what I want to write. So I just rather not do it. So for 10, 11 years, bro, I went into acting and modeling and all that shit like that.
Yeah.
And then boom, social media started popping up, all of that shit. And I still would always sing. And I remember recording myself and then deleting this shit, recording myself and then deleting it. So one day I said, fuck it. Let me record some shit. And I recorded some shit and I sung this cover and I put it out and like, just this shit just was flooded with messages, bro. Like people were just saying like, yo, this is like the new this or he's that. And that's just when I knew I should, that was one of the first signs because obviously I encountered other things, but that was the first sign 3 years ago that told me like, bro, no, this is your shit. Get after it, you know? And so that's how I encounter music, bro. And here we are in New York City, man. Like I'm out here taking a break, but I'm also out here, you know, there's people hitting me up. Yeah, man, you know, working, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, bro, that's amazing. I'm happy that we even get to do this where it's like you're from LA, I'm in the Bay. We met in LA, but you're in New York right now. Like we're moving around, you know, and I love to see my people move, bro.
Amen, bro.
Like we were made to migrate for short periods of time and long periods of time. It's okay, you know, and so
Amen.
good. And for me, bro, I want to kind of show the reason why also like when I was over at the and you know, I'm not trying to keep bringing the full community up, but I was over there and because I'm a northerner, bro, like you know, I'm but I transformed my life. You know, I'm not a dropout. I don't even like to talk about those things, but I just all I did was what I would call like instead of leaving your neighborhood, I just elevated, and I'm still proud to be from my hood. You know, from my gang too, even, but I also don't want to be portrayed as a gang member, bro, because I also wasn't. I never went to prison. I mean, I was, you know, in the night. I'm 40, so in the 90s, if you were outside, you had to be with the business. You know, it just was.
Yeah.
But I just saw my best friend went to jail for 20 years. My other friend got hooked on, you know, drugs, and I just was like, fuck, you know, I have some in the hood. There's different levels of privileges, you know, even inside the hood, you know, and I had probably the highest level of privilege inside of a working class neighborhood. You know how some homies have a little, like they're almost out of the neighborhood, but they're still there. I was kind of one of those guys, and so I have like a welga bird on my knee and I have other tattoos. And like when I was over there, I was kind of getting put back into that place, bro. And I can't. So the reason I'm saying this is because of like the music part. Like I run into that too. Like when Suede, we were supposed to interview Suede, you know, and we were going to interview TYS. He's another popular artist in Northern California. And they both passed away, you know, through violence. And it's like, do I want to keep uplifting this kind of music, you know, and this kind of lifestyle? Do I want to, especially when I know what it creates? And they never show the pictures of a mother's face, you know, when a kid gets sentenced to 15, 20 years, or like how far people have to drive to see their family members, or how it feels when a homie asks you for money or for that green dot or whatever, the green dot, or, you know, like, and they don't even want to ask, but it's like, you know, so it's like they're not being men, you know, because they're asking other men for help, and that's okay to ask for help, but you know, they feel like they're not men, and like the rap scene doesn't show all the demasculization of men when they go through the prison process, you know. And I just wanted to also ask you, like, how do you kind of navigate those waters, you know, because it's like people don't really care about positive stuff anymore. I don't know, it's hard, you know. I know if me and you were talking shit about the full community, like in a real malicious way, we would have way more people. We'd have it more clipped. We'd post. But what makes, like, how do you navigate those waters and stay you?
That's a good question, man. You know, for me, it's all about respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I wrote that song, Prison War, I didn't say, you know, fuck the other side or fuck these people or fuck that or this is who I am, why I came out, you know, whatever. I just told a story, which is a corrido. And do I have a past life? Of course, 100%. That's how I get inspired to write my music. And to me, it's just about respect. You know, I know that there's lines that I don't want to cross, or that I shouldn't cross, right? Because there's going to be repercussions, right? That's just what it's about. It's just, I'm not going to cross your line, don't cross my line. And more than anything, bro, I think what really inspired me to write corridos and make peace with it was that I told myself, like, you know what, man, I'm going to need a lot of money. Because, you know, I remember I was taking my mentee out to go eat, and Then I took another one out, and I'm like, then I bought him this, and I went did that, and I'm like, this was all out of my pocket, obviously, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna need a lot of money, bro, because if I'm gonna continue to help people, I need to have more to be able to give back more. And I was like, I know, man, being an actor could give me a lot, but fuck, there's a lot of money in the music business too.
Yeah.
So shit, why don't I do all three of these things? You know what I'm saying? And it just, I was like, you know what, man? If dying behind helping people is what it is, and that's what I'm gonna do. As long as I continue to tell stories of what it is that I grew up in, or stories that can impact, because that was ultimately my main goal with cinema, with music, is to make stories that impact, bro. I want you to hear this song. I wrote this song called El Cholo Narco, right? El Cholo Narco is about a gang member from the 90s who used to sell drug on the streets, balloons in his mouth, and he was that kind of street hustler, bro. And this guy, between the gangs and the selling, he goes to prison. And then when he comes back out, it's, this shit starts getting hectic to where he catches a bigger term. So he goes in there, and while he catches a bigger term, slamming and chiva, all that shit, starts becoming an addict, bro. And then his life becomes fucking wicked and twisted, and he gets into the politics, and the politics inside are very serious. People get killed.
Yeah.
And so at one point he's exhausted, bro. He's exhausted, and he's like, God, I don't want this life no more. Take over my life. I don't want this life no more. I want peace. And when you think about that, you think it's some sucker shit. Some people would think it's some sucker shit, but it's like, nah, bro. Some motherfuckers really been there front line and are tired of suffering of drug addiction, of pain, of violence, bro. They want a family, they want children, they want peace. Yeah. And man, this is the man who gets on his knees and tells God, take over my life. So his life goes in a different direction. Ultimately ends up being a free man and has a family and has kids. And now he says, look, all these things are going in my way because I have God in my life. And I think when people think about that, they think it's just like some sucker shit. It's like, nah, bro, when you got God in your life, you're a stronger person. You're a stronger man. You're a stronger woman, because you're able to overcome these obstacles, bro. You believe in something higher than you. So that's what that song is about, bro. And I pray to God. I'm like, God, allow me to keep this gangster shit that I have inside me, but allow me to deliver music that is powerful, that is gonna inspire and motivate people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to go out there and preach. No. I want to still come with that edge, but I want to deliver music substance for people that can be inspired and motivated and be like, damn, bro, I want to get after that. I want a family. I want to do good. I want to start my business. So that's what motivates me, and that's how I keep that line there. And I think therefore, like, people really respect the shit that I'm doing.
Yeah, bro, man, and I do too, and that's what I wanted to do too. That's what I want to do. Why I wanted to do the whole food community stuff too, because what I want to do is like Jesus, bro. He stood on the fringes of society. He stood with the prostitutes. He stood with the gangsters. He had one of them, like I want to be there, and I don't want to turn my back on the fools, like I don't want to turn my back on the problematic part of our community. I want to lift them up, and the only way you can lift them up is go to the places where they're at, and that's where. There, but just for me, it became, and then also just like the whole popularity contest within our community, like who gets on, who doesn't. That was hard for me, but that's why I like your music, because I still want to, like, I don't know how to say this either, but like, man, I had a good run on the streets, and I remember, and I when people bring up little things that, like, if kind of things about the streets, it's like, damn, that's dope. It brings you back. So I like all that stuff. And what I like is somebody like you, where you're speaking about your personal experiences and things you've seen, but also but you're also balancing it out with like health, with like that little post that I did about like a creative something, the book you read. Like a lot of homies don't even read books now, but I know you're like, but it was like the creative something about trying everything out, trying different things out.
Word. Yeah. You're right. Some real shit.
because a lot of the homies, like, they're just, you know, like, they portray themselves as mass murderers, you know, and like, come on, bro. I know that you probably haven't even pulled that thing, really, dog. And the other thing about people that really know about guns is like, I don't want to, bro. I don't even like having guns because I think it elevates you to another level. I have to in my security work, but I've spent most of my time not having to, because then you don't put yourself in that energy space, you know?
Bro,
Like,
I think that that's a powerful.
he's 75 and he's never carried a gun, bro. And he's a tough man. And he's like, the moments when I could have pulled out, if I would have pulled out, I could have killed him or me. And, you know, him taking my little $20 in Oakland or whatever, it's cool, you know? So I don't know, bro. I'm just trying to figure out how we can find a place. Because other places, I think, is the problem also is that, like, our community is kind of like Chicano rap. Like, we think we're popular, but we're only popular within amongst ourselves. And anything about us, even other Latinos and stuff. So I was gonna ask you about, like, do you think a lot of people in LA are very like LA centric? Because
I just want.
But a lot of people stay in LA; they never leave.
Yeah, man. I wanted to touch on that energy note that you said about, you know, weapons and all that stuff. No, you're good. I think that's a very important topic because I learned about the power of attraction when I was about 14 or 15, and the way I did it was, by the time I was 14, I transitioned from being, you know, a skateboarder, tagger, and then going into, like, you know, the gang and carrying a weapon. And by the age of, you know, 15, that's when I started carrying a gun almost every day. And I noticed, man, that I was getting chased by the cops more. I was getting banged on more, all the way to the point where it's like, all right, bro, you got to pull this bitch. What's up? And when it got to that point and, you know, people were dying over here and dying over there, I'm like, oh, this shit is real, bro. And I feel the energy, you know, and it's a very important thing. You know, sometimes I see youngsters like portraying this lifestyle, and it doesn't really, you know, like you or many other people, myself, you know, I've been in that cell with somebody else. I've been in that, you know, a lot of people are not really about what they talk about. You know, at the end of the day, when you put somebody in a box and you put two motherfuckers, it's like, it's you or me, bro. And that's where you really see where somebody's heart is at. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, it's like, whatever energy you portray, you carry, or you do live, certainly, because some of us, I know for me, being a gangster, that's really what I was looking forward towards, you know, till I find myself in Sinaloa. But God, the universe, life had a different direction for me. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes where you're not aware of the energy of what you're doing, that's when you get caught, because you're like, why did this person get hit? Why did this happen to? Is because of the energy. You're bringing that energy, so you're gonna bring that to you. So I just wanted to touch on that because that's very powerful, bro. And then I shifted my energy, and obviously, you know, better people started coming my way, and opportunities and stuff like that. And your question was about the LA scene.
Just kind of the LA scene, where I feel like whenever I'm in LA, it's popping, it's exciting, but then I ask people that are outside of LA and they don't even know what we're doing. And it's like, we're in the greatest city in the world. I don't know. I just feel like we're always going to be Chicano rap. Like, we're always going to be Chicano podcasters. We're always, because we don't like network with other artists that are different races. We don't go to Georgia and Atlanta and start trying to do different things. Like the Migos, they came out here and started doing fucking collabs with Chicano artists before they blew up. Like, they were open-minded and stuff. I don't know. I just feel like because LA has everything, like most people don't kind of look outside of LA if you're from LA. Like, you don't look outside of LA, but I don't know. I just felt like it's a very LA centric thing. And like, people like the food community, nobody knows about the food community really out here, bro. And it's such a popular thing in LA, right? It's like this big deal. But in most of the world, it's not that big a deal, bro. And 300,000 is a lot, but it's not that much, bro. Like, no jumper has, you know. So I guess my question also isn't really that. It's more like, how can we elevate ourselves to like compete with other races or something? I don't know. You don't ever feel like you're the stepchild in the industry? Like, even though you're speaking Spanish music, I'm just saying, like, I feel like we're always treated as, even in artists, I mean, as actors, like my friend is Richard Cabral, Baby Jokes.
Yeah.
And he would tell me so much about how they would treat him in the industry. And
Mm.
okay, well then I'm just gonna be the best cholo I can be, and I'm gonna transform this role and elevate this role. And it made him get new roles because he did that role so good. But I'm just wondering, like with our people, how do we get to that billboards? How do we get to award ceremonies? You know?
Educate yourself, man. All I can say, and I keep bringing this up from time to time. Pick up a book, educate yourself about the industry that we're in. Read a bio of somebody else, or some one of the greatest. Listen to uplifting audiobooks like that, bro. Because to me, when you ask me if I felt like the stepchild, I get your point. But to me, because I have been educating myself in different ways, going out to different places and having dinner, learning about certain things, etiquette, etc., traveling to places, bro. It's a form of etiquette. It's a form of education. So when I sit down at the table, not long ago, I sat down at the table with this kid, man. He was trying to be ordained to become a priest, but he's like, he has to go through this process, and he just did his vows for like 2 years, which means he has to live like in a very like poor way, obviously no sex, none of those things, right? And this kid is white as snow, bro. He is white as snow. And he when I spoke to him, he's from like Michigan. I don't know where he's from, but white. And he said, when I finished talking, he was like, "Wow, bro, you articulate so well." He's like, you're able to tell your story so well. Because when I asked him, you tell me about you, he really he didn't know how to do it, right? And when he told me that, somebody would take offense to that as being a Latino. Like, what do you mean I articulate myself well? As if us Latinos shouldn't articulate ourselves well or could be eloquent. And it's like, nah, bro, that was a compliment. This guy was really telling me, like, bro, like, you're good. And the reason why I can say that I'm good at that is because I have taken the time to educate myself, right? With literacy and real stuff that has substance. So as I continue to grow as an artist, I'm also growing in understanding my industry, right? How does the contracts work, et cetera, et cetera. So that's how I will be able to compete in those higher levels, bro. And no longer just like like the stepchild or the fucking I'm from here. Like, nah, bro. I could carry myself everywhere in the world with my head up because I know I'm an educated man.
Hell yeah. I mean, the other thing is about like you take care of yourself, you work out. What's your lifestyle kind of look like? How do you eat? How do you work out? How do you take care of yourself? How do you upkeep your body? Because I've learned that the more I take care of my body, bro, and my mind, and when you're working out and eating healthy and putting healthy food in your body, not processed foods, like, bro, I'd be having literally better thoughts. I'd be less mad. I de-escalate because my thing is I'll pump myself up, bro. I'm one of the I didn't need a homie to pump me up. In the mirror, like, you're gonna let that fool fucking 20 years ago, and I'm as fuck. So that's the thing, it's like, man. But
that's a good question, bro. Those are good questions. Sometimes I have my regimens where I wake up at like 5, 4, whatever, 6. I wake up. I like to do cold showers from time to time. And mind you, all of this shit I learned because I used to box in 2009, and that's when I was like more deep into it. So like I learned all of these things before people would jump online and start talking about this shit. I like to do cold showers for many reasons because it does balance yourself, clarity, right? And it's something that you're scared to do, but when you do it, you're like, fuck, I overcame that shit. So there, you're already winning.
It like shocks you. It feels powerful.
It shocks you. It regulates your breathing. It regulates your heartbeats, etc. It's good for your skin, all that shit. So that I like to meditate and I like to pray, bro. First things in the mornings, I like to do that. I'll go to the gym and work out, get a 30-minute, 45-minute session, quick. Go run, do a couple weights. I'll try to read a chapter and then go on with my day, depending what my day looks like, right? But that's kind of like those are kind of like my daily habits, bro. Reading, writing, meditating, exercising. Me personally, I love the boxing gym. And even if you're not
best workouts.
even if for anybody, even if they're not, you know, good at boxing or whatever, like I highly recommend people to take boxing because boxing is a good form of therapy, right?
Yeah, that's what I go there too. There's a shout out to Double Punches in Santa Rosa. I go there just to work out with the kids sometimes, just because one, it's cool to be. I like to work out in community too, and it's really cool to work out with other brown people, you know, because sometimes you're not. It's like a mix or whatever, you know, a 24-hour or whatever. But just that community kind of working out. There's something about that. It's like a tribalism, I think, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, man, and you know, people don't walk around with egos. You know, they say that you know, the first time I met a real gangster man in Sinaloa, somebody who was really about that life, and the first time I met somebody like that, man, this guy was humble, man. He was polite. He was very like a good looking guy. He was like fucking charismatic, bro. I thought I was gonna meet this fucking like, hey, yeah, you know, fucking, you know, crazy motherfucker, man, and you know, dude, this was the nicest guy, but you know, the person who is the kindest, the most humblest, those are the ones that, you know, they know what they carry. You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say that in the boxing gyms, a lot of people there have learned the skills, but they're the nicest people, bro, because they know they can, you know, beat somebody up. They don't have to walk around with egos. So it's a really nice space for people. You know, if you don't know somebody, they'll dab you up. What's up, champ? Hey, how you doing? You know, it's a very good space. So I would recommend that to people. Because it makes you feel good. It makes you feel better. It's a form of clarity. And that's one of the things that I use on a daily basis.
I think it sounds funny, but I think when you actually know how to fight, you don't want to fight as much.
No.
And you're like, because you know how to fight, it's not, you kind of don't need to prove it to yourself. Because I remember when I was younger, sometimes I was trying to prove things to myself. And it's like,
right.
no. And then when you get a punch with a really nice little jab to your nose piece, it also humbles you, you know? Because I've had I don't look tough, bro. Like supposedly I think I look tough, but people think that I am kind of, you know, little skinny, little boom, had a little bit more reach than me, skinny nigga, and boom, dog, changed my. I mean, I still remember it, dog. Like my eyes watering up, and what I love about boxing is learning how quick just you don't need to, you know, all these people rounding up and like, you know, coming from, you know, back in the days, you know.
Yeah.
And just one right here, you know, with your body, you know, in motion, like you can just drop somebody. And so once you know how to do that, you don't really need to do it if you know you can do it, and you know how it feels to get, you know, humbled too.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I see some of these fighters, bro. Like right here, right away, as soon as I got to New York, I went to go sign up to like one of a good gym here in Brooklyn, and man, they beautiful fighters, bro. There's like these. They had to be Mexican, man. Great fighters, bro. I'm like, I know, and you know, my homies know, they know how I get down, but I'm like, if I got in that ring with some of them motherfuckers, they would give me some work, you know what I'm saying? But it's beautiful, bro, because it's just like, yeah, that lets you know, bro, there's people out there that can really handle business, you know?
I just love the culture.
Yeah, I love the culture too, and I like what it does for you, man. On a spiritual side, on a positive note, like it does. It's therapeutic.
Yeah, and I love being around a bunch of fools that can fight too.
No, for sure, bro.
You know what I mean? Cafecito, we're the wrong people you want to deal with, and then we're hella cool. You're good. You're good. And we're hella cool because I literally don't. I've never met a boxer that I know that's a bully. I've never met one. Every boxer I know is not a bully. I've never met a boxer that's a bully.
Nah, bro. Nobody likes to walk around like that. I mean, you know, it is what it is.
I mean, I think we all know, because we all know that there's always going to be somebody tougher. You know, there's always somebody. That's why I never try to. And that's the thing. I never try to act with my chest out. I am a little aggressive sometimes, and I'm working kind of on managing my voice, because I kind of go a little too far sometimes. But like
that's good, man.
I was on the Tony A show. I don't know if you watch Rhodium Radio. And I just went off. I went off, and I just needed to let it off. I think it was one of those things that right when after it happens, you kind of need to kind of just blah. And I kind of full went off a little too hard, which I think I have a lot of good points. But when I'm speaking with anger, people forget what I'm speaking about, and they're just kind of watching the circus go on, you know?
Absolutely, man. I think you're in a great place, bro. I think you're in a great place to you're seeing a lot of things, man. That's good. Yeah.
50-pound weight vest. or backpack 6 to 12 miles on a trail is good for the legs and core. Heck yeah, it is. I've never done the backpack. I've done the legs one. Have you ever
I
done
used
it?
to, yeah, I used to run with I used to run with a vest in the mountains, weight vest. I used to run with them off, yeah, and then take them off and then sprint. That was
Yeah.
like
Well,
10, 12 years ago.
what I love about that is, say it's a hot day, right? And you don't want to go work out, but then you work out and then you go in the sauna and it's even hotter in the sauna. So then when you get out, it's not as hot, like it can
Yeah,
always be more uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
yeah, man.
The homie asked if you does he just sing corridos or does he rap too? On your thing he says I sing corridos, I don't rap or whatever.
That's funny, man. Yeah, I some of my merch that's coming out is kind of tailored around that. I sing corridos. I'm not a rapper. I sing corridos. Respectfully, because the corrido genre is a corrido genre. And I think that when a lot of these artists came out with like trap corridos and everything, it kind of got like a little mix. Like people were like rapping and doing that, which I love it, man. I love that the culture is like moving up and developing.
They're like best of out there going out and doing like all these award shows and big things that they've never done.
Bro, I'm all about that shit, bro. Like I love this shit. I love to see the next person going up, bro. I love to see more than, bro. When I tell people, like, I might be on a subway and a black girl from the Bronx start talking to me, or Latina girl, and they're like, "Oh, what do you do?" "Oh, I write and sing Spanish music." "Oh, what kind of music?" "Corridos." "Oh, corridos? Oh, I know about that, and so it's dope that the genre is getting a lot of recognition in different categories now. But there is a way to go about corridos. But yeah, I just sing corridos. I'm not a rapper. That's not my forte. I could write, but just sing corridos.
Yeah. How long are you out there in New York?
I'll be here for a bit, man. I got this production coming up. I'll be here for a couple months.
Oh, hell yeah, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. See, no, it's because it's cool to go somewhere for a couple days or a week, but when you get to really be there, I got to be in New York in the Hunts Park, the Bronx, in the Hunts Park Bronx.
Nice.
In Manhattan. My brother went to Columbia University. I've been all over that city, and it's a beautiful city. I'm just happy that you get to experience a city that has so much history too. You can feel the history in it, right?
Oh man, beautiful, bro. Yeah. And I'm grateful too that I can stay here and not just come for like a week or 2 weeks and just leave. I think that New York has the energy, bro, that I need. Like, I mean, you grow up in the Bay, and I think sometimes when you're in different cities, you're a certain type of way of being. And like I said, bro, I had to do a lot of arranging in my life, but I feel like I'm really like a fucking bull, bro. Like I'm just going, or a fucking lion who doesn't like me. But then again, we gotta move certain ways sometimes. You gotta know that you can't just fucking go off on somebody, or you can't just tell somebody get the fuck out my way. You know what I'm saying? So, you learn how to maneuver without losing yourself. And I think New York is a great city for
my freaking anger, bro. I spent a whole month out there. I was away from my daughter. I invested a lot of my time and money into this project, the Food Community Podcast. And with one moment of anger, I blew it all away. And no drink, sober. No, I wasn't sober, bro. And to everybody that's in recovery, shout out to you guys. I have 10 years sober. 10 years. I smoke weed, but I didn't smoke weed for my first 5 years to make sure I got to know myself. Anybody that's in recovery, I don't suggest you smoke weed though, because it could lead you back to things that you don't want to. So I suggest against smoking weed if you're in recovery. But I'm not gonna lie that I do, because I want to be transparent. But I have a lot of respect for those rooms and those places. I got sober at Homeboy Industries, bro, the only Northerners to ever do that shit.
Wow, damn.
I was a photographer there too, so I got to live with these vatos and really understand who I thought my enemy was. And I find out that I always say the streets said that we were enemies, but God showed us that we were brothers. You know what I mean? And I get a lot of hate, bro, because they call me a Southside lover, or they call me like these things, and it's not that. It's like, if you've ever experienced LA the way I experienced it, it'll transform you, bro. I lived in LA from 18 to 32. 18
man.
That's very formative years in your life to live in a city that's not yours,
Nah, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. I spent a little bit of time in Homeboys too. Back in like 2000. I don't know if it was 12. Was it 12? 2012, 6.
I got there. I wasn't there from 13 to 16. 3 years.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, okay.
16. And I
Yeah.
over there, but it's crazy. I was working. I wasn't a homeboy though. I was a senior staff, like the guys who work in the cubicles and stuff. And then I started getting affected by them, you know. And there's a guy from Rockwood right next to 18th Street in Pico in the Westlake district. He killed like
Shadow?
8, huh?
Shadow? No.
No. Rockwood.
Yeah. No, I was just saying if it was Shadow.
Oh, I don't even want to say
Okay.
his name, but he's from Rockwood and he's like 10 years old, maybe like 45. But back then he was probably like 10 years ago, whatever. And he all these people, bro. I'm not trying to hate. He wasn't a good looking dude. He was overweight. He had a bus pass. He spent 25 years in prison, had no education, but he was happy, bro. He had a real LOL. He was content. And I was like, he was content. And I was like, what's going on? And he had recovery in his life. You know, he had a connection with God. He knew who he was. He got all the, he cleaned up his side of the street, you know, and he was good, you know, and I wasn't, bro. I was pretending to be this popular ass photographer. I had this wife who was the founder of the Dream Act movement. We had celebrity friends. We had money. We lived in Pasadena, South Pasadena, if you know what I mean. Like, but I was dying inside, bro. How I have all this, made it in the big city from Santa Rosa, and then this guy doesn't have anything, but he's happy and I'm sad, you know, deep. And I found recovery, bro, and that's like the daily push me forward, you know, and to be able to, people cannot believe that I don't drink on New Year's Eve, I don't drink on Christmas, I never drink, bro, and I never feel like I want to drink, bro. So all that I wanted to get, you know, as we slowly conclude, I wanted to give a little bit about anything you want to share. I want to keep it kind of open ended, but anything you'd like to share about your journey in recovery or sobriety or whatever you want to call that. I want to keep it open, you know, to not put you on the spot too.
Is one of the best decisions that I've made, man. Like this is what it comes down to. Either you got a problem with it or you don't. If you got a problem with it, you got to quit that shit. You got to cut it out of your life because you're never gonna be able to advance. That there's no other way I can say it. If it's something that, you know, makes you fuck up relationships, if it's pretty much with anything. But what I came to find out with that was that my life started getting better when I got sober. Yeah. As soon as I turned my life over to the care of God and I surrendered, bro, it's like I've been flowing with the water like this, bro. Like I was fucking fighting up the stream. And then all of a sudden I just surrendered, gave my life to God. I said, I want to be sober. And I started putting in the work. Look, swimming backwards, fool. I swim backwards, just, you know. Bro. It's like I'm good, man. Like, you know, I'm happy, I'm blessed, bro. Even when shit is crazy, I'm still good, bro.
Hey, but do you have any? Do you fall off at all? Like I did. Look at real quick before you answer that. Look, I fell off, but I was able to, because of recovery, I was able to get back on real quick. And like I didn't spend, like, people made videos about the food community and all that. I will respond because it's my story, but I didn't go off on this whole kind of toxic campaign against them to like try to cancel them, or I don't know. When I was drinking, everybody was all their fault. It wasn't my fault, you know. And just I've been able to publicly acknowledge that that I crashed out on them. You know what I mean? And when I was drinking, I would have never admitted that. You know what I mean? I would have hid that part of me.
Yeah, I did. I was 7 years sober, and then I relapsed, and now I got 2. Because I think the full community also posted about my sobriety when I was going on like 6 years. But I did. I thought I was in a better place. And, you know, listen, addiction is addiction no matter what, especially with drugs and alcohol. It is what it is. If you're an addict, it's always going to be a problem. So, yeah, I went out for like 3 weeks, and then my life started like, but now I'm like, I got way more things to lose. So I need to get sober. And I got sober again. And I'm just like, you know, and some things take work. I mean, it took me about 100 tries before I could actually get sober. And then when I finally did, I relapsed one more time. And now I'm just like, all right, bet this is not going to work. My life is supposed to be lived the rest of the life sober. And that's it, man. You know, it's better. It's way better.
Also sober like I did, like, you know how I made that mistake, I had an emotional response, an emotional reaction instead of
gotcha.
emotional responses?
Oh, bro. I mean, it can happen. It can happen because our work is different compartments, right? We have anger, we have lust, we have depression, we have anxiety, we have, whatever, gambling addiction, fucking addiction, drinking addiction. So all these things, you got to fucking kill them one by one, one by one, one by one. So yeah, man, I can see it happen. It did happen with me with the anger, but I found a sense of urgency and I'm like, all right, this one I got to kill now because I'm going to lose the person I really like over my fucking anger problem. So I found the urgency and I killed that shit. But it can happen, man. We're a working progress. Everybody. I don't care who says what. Yeah.
It's a little personal, but you don't have to answer. But are you single?
I'm not.
Okay. And the reason I asked that just is, how do you like? It's like to navigate. Like me, I'm 40. I'm healthy. I want more kids. My daughter wants siblings. And I do attract women that are younger, that are not, I mean, really young too. I mean, of course, overage, but I meant like they're young enough where we could still have a whole family and everything because I'm healthy. You know, I attract like 25-year-olds where you could have 3 kids with me, you know, and we could do it. Like, how do you navigate those waters of relationship? Because that's where it gets even trickier sometimes of like feeling like not worthy or like this or that. Or so how do you deal with, like, has sobriety really helped you deal with interpersonal relationships, like your relationship with your partner?
Yeah, because if I'm drinking and doing drugs, bro, I'm going on a rampage with women, especially now if I have the opportunity to do so. But that takes a lot from you mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally.
It does, bro. I've been telling people I get with a lot of women, bro, and I got off Tinder, I got off Bumble because it was just a bunch of sex, but low frequency. And as sad as the sound is, after you have a lot of sex, bro, you kind of want to cuddle after. You know, I'm 40. I'm seeking intimacy now. You know, like I want to laugh, cuddle. I don't want to just be lustful, and so I'm kind of searching for that, and I'm learning that I have to, you know, start to take things down. You know, that are too easy to fall into just full lust.
That's a form of discipline too, man. It's a form of discipline we have to practice, and because it will take for you. If you don't notice it now, you'll notice it later. But for me, I had to also acknowledge, bro, like what I have, what cards are in my hand, and I'm the one that's responsible for keeping them and winning or losing. So that's another form of discipline, bro. And I pray about it and I work about it. You know what I'm saying? So sobriety has helped me a lot in that sense because I'm not fogged up with like, oh, this person looks good, and then they're like, hell no, bro, this person don't look good. You know what I'm saying? So
you find out like half these people don't even look like they look. You know?
Nah, man, sobriety is the way to go.
Hell yeah. And then just looking forward, you know, what's kind of like, do you have like a 5-year plan or 2-3-year plan, or kind of just like, how do you see yourself in the next couple of years? Where do you want to be, you know? Personal goals, professional. Personal goals are always good too, you know?
No, 100%, man. I think right now I'm developing the music and the artist in me in the music business. Definitely see myself, you know, developed more or more accomplished in that area. And as an actor as well, you know, I'm part of it.
That, bro. You could really, that's something you should really look into
more. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. But I meant like keep focusing, keep hitting that hammer.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I'm definitely in conversations right now with management and all that stuff. I had a good run this last year. I am part of the union. Hopefully we can figure some shit out too, because the union, we've been on strike for like 100 days now. So trying to definitely grow the modeling. So my main things are, you know, music, acting, and modeling in the creative realm. And those are the things that I see being developed and being more of an established, you know, actor, writer, singer. And, you know, family, God willing, we'll see, man. I want more kids too. You know, I have a son right now. He's about 5.
I got
Ali.
5.
Nice, man. Yeah, my son is 5. It's been a blessing, and you know, I want another one. So as soon as that comes around, and other than that, bro, honestly, I want to like be more in a better financial place because I see myself traveling, and as I go and tour, man, I want to be able to stop in like local boxing gyms and bless the kids there with equipment, and go to the juvenile halls, detention centers, and speak to them, and just do what I've been doing, but in a more grand scale, right? And also speak to my public, bro. When I'm out there, bro, take a moment to say a couple fucking words that just are gonna just come into my body, bro, and I'm gonna just drop it on them, you know, and whoever needs to hear it, bro, I hope that they find healing, bro. I just want to be able to spread hope to the hopeless, you know?
Hell yeah, bro. Well, yeah, man, I appreciate you. You know, I've been kind of, I don't know. I feel like people thought that I was gonna do this whole, I don't know, like campaign thing, and I just appreciate you for taking the interview because I'm just starting off. You're literally my second interview, or podcast. I call them podcasts because there's more like a conversation than like an interview. Like I didn't go, question for question with you. We just chop it up. It's kind of like how I like it more, and just taking a chance to like do this new thing because this is still relatively new. I know there's podcasts, everything, but for our community, and I just want to have a space where we can kind of be very honest, transparent, check in, and kind of have a safe community where you don't always got to worry about like the one part that I didn't like about that other thing was that the audience was a lot of negativity, and it's funny. It's fun to joke around and all that. But bro, after a while, it's just like no disrespect, but after I took those pages off of my social media, bro, like I feel better in life. I say this with honesty, but not to like cancel them because it's okay to like, how I am. If I don't like something, I don't go on a campaign and hate on people. I just take it off of my plate, like I don't gotta, fling it at somebody else, just it's not for me. But those pages have made me feel a lot of like I had to compare myself to other people. I started seeing a lot of jokes that are really funny, but they're really negative, and they put me in a negative place. And I just want to create an environment where kind of it's not all goofy and like like we can talk our shit and have fun, but also something that like, man, anybody in my family could click on this interview right here, this podcast, bro, and they would be proud of what we talked about today.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, man. Because I think that one of the things for me, man, I consider myself una persona seria. I think I like to make jokes, have fun, laugh, and all that shit. But I'm not the type of person to be like, grabbing me on my shoulder, pulling me around, saying dumb shit, trying to make me look stupid. But look, bro, when I was a kid, I didn't know how to react to people like that. The only way I did was punch them in the mouth, bro. Yeah. And like, I never liked that kind of like. I think it's a form of disrespect, and I think that it's respectful to respect people who are advancing, who are growing, who, instead of using these opportunities to make a fool or mockery of somebody, we can use them to teach the rest of the people how this person made it, right? Or is making it, or is how is he or she is developing. So I appreciate the time of that because I do take myself as a person who is serious, who is conservative, but also outgoing. And I just don't like, me personally, I wouldn't want to be in a place where somebody's making a mockery. I don't take those things very lightly. But I do appreciate the upliftment, so that together we can, help other people as well.
Absolutely. And I want everybody to win, bro. I've learned that nowadays it's just there's no reason to have hate in your heart because hate in your heart is like, what do they say? It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die, There's no reason to like carry it with me. So I want all the food pages to win. I want all the Raza pages to win. I want all of us to win, and just if it's not for you, you don't gotta hate, just move forward, and I really appreciate you saying about that seriousness because I don't like horseplay a lot, I'm not and I'm not that I'm like, oh, I can't have fun, but like don't surprise me with horseplay or sex talk or sex play. Like I have a lot of sex, I'm a freak, but I don't like to just openly converse about very private things, just like for without like a little bit build up kind of, right? So right. And I appreciate that with you, and that's what I'm going to do is just basically interview and vibe with people that I feel that we're more or less on the same journey and we can learn from each other. And then what I plan to do, bro, is everybody that I do the live stream with, eventually I have a studio in LA that I can work out of, and I'm going to start live interviewing everybody because it's just better, for us to be in person with each other. But this is cool to kind of, I kind of feel like this is a nice little starting off point for me, just to kind of build a network of people that I fuck with. And then when we see each other in person, we can really podcast, you know what I mean? And see where we're at in a year or two, see where we're at after this one,
Amen, bro.
For sure, for sure. Well, everybody go check out my boy Jimmy Valdez. It's Jimmy Valdez. I'll have it in the description. He does corridos. He doesn't rap, and he acts, and he's doing modeling for sure. He's in New York for a couple months, but check him out. And again, bro, I appreciate you for stopping by and having a little time with your boy.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate what you're doing, brother. Good luck with everything, and let's keep moving forward, bro. Let's keep growing as men.
And I swear to God, bro, if you're ever in the North Bay, the Bay Area is the Bay Area, the East Bay, the South Bay, and the North Bay. I'm in the North Bay, and you got a canton with a big yard, very peaceful out here, bro. I live like on a little farm, up north. It's hard to leave LA, bro, but I'm just like kind of loving this kind of humble, beautiful kind of farm by the ocean life that I'm living, So if you ever just need to get away and you just need a spot to get away at, bro, you got a spot right here, and like your own little room, you can. Privacy, coming in and out, all that, I got you.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, man.
For sure. All right, brother. Have a good day.
Thank you, everybody, too. All right, peace.
Thank you, everybody. We out. Peace.